Okay, so welcome to Valley Strange. It's a mini strange. It's weird to hear myself like being played back in a delay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's what you sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's just a constant reminder how much you're fucking up, Ray.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to Valley Strange. This is our first mini. Oh, holy shit! Let me try that one more time. Welcome to Valley Strange. This is episode number 4, and this is the mini episode. Before we get to our big episode later on this month, on this particular episode, we are going to be talking about strange news and pretty much anything that's gone on in the past few weeks since our last episode.
Right.
And today, I mean, we have myself, Ray.
Oh, this is Roland.
And then we have remoting in
Bryce.
Oh, Bryce.
Bryce, yeah. Brycicle.
Fucking M-Town over here.
MC.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the article that says Bob Lazar says the FBI raided him to seize Area 51's alien fuel. The truth is weirder.
Is it really?
I don't know, Roland. You tell me.
I didn't think it was. But let's get into it.
This basically the article goes on to talk briefly about Bob Lazar and who he was when he concealed his identity, to talk about his time at Groom Lake
As Dennis.
Dennis, yeah.
The enigmatic Dennis.
And he talked about the hold on, Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice, right?
The section of Area 51 called S4. And again, if you all haven't heard anything we've talked about before, or even our CineQuest video, Bob Lazar and UFOs epised number 7. We kind of go into this because we discuss the episode where, well, it was pretty much a documentary about Bob Lazar. If you're unfamiliar with Bob Lazar, you should check it out because it gives a pretty general overview of who Bob Lazar is and what he has done and what he's doing now.
Ben?
It just sort of reminds me of that one clip. Was it Clerks 2? I forget. Like, where Jason Mewes is like, I want to be the first motherfucker to discover life on an alien planet so I can go and fuck it. I think it was Clerks 2.
I don't know what. I don't really remember
It's great.
movie it was.
It's great.
So what do you all have to say about this article?
I actually vaguely recall him mentioning. He mentions it like once in the documentary, right? That he was being raided. They don't actually.
Yeah, actually, during the documentary, he does get raided.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah.
Like in real time, it's happening as they're doing this. But I mean, like when we watched it in the video, he throws out like a real. I don't remember them really going into detail about it. I feel like he just. Oh yeah, like while we're recording this, I'm being raided right now. By the way, but whatever.
Well, yeah, he texted that Corbell guy.
Corbell guy, yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? George Knapp tells him, he's like, I knew something like this would happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, if you all don't know, Bob Lazar just came out with his own book called Dreamland. Yeah. And it does have a foreword by George Knapp.
Oh, nice.
If you want to check that out.
It should be on our list. Right?
Yeah, it should be on our list.
Possible book of the strange episode.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After we get like the other heavy hitters in the UFO game.
Of course.
Let's see.
Actually, again, in the article, it does talk about the raid that occurs in the documentary. It says, right in the middle of the production of a documentary about Lazar's life, United Nuclear Scientific was raided by the FBI and local police. Lazar and his followers have found this to be very suspicious and have theorized that the FBI was attempting to recover samples of element 115 that Lazar took from Area 51.
Always the fucking government.
And conspiracy theorists suggest that Lazar was under government surveillance and that this is the latest in a decades-long harassment campaign against Lazar by the feds.
I believe it. Fuck the government. They're full of shit. A bunch of assholes. They don't give a fuck about anybody. And yeah. So this article that talks about how they raid the, where was his business located? Is it in
Michigan?
No,
It's in New
Mexico.
Mexico. Somewhere.
It's been moved. I think it was originally in New Mexico and it moved over twice. I remember seeing, and where is it in here? Raided by the feds. Yeah, so they raided his business under the, well, it was said that officially they were investigating a murder. One of the, well, apparently, like, so his business is he sells like rare earth and just very hard to find elements, just components and shit to people for, you know, whatever scientific studies they're messing around with. And so they got a hold of some thallium. And apparently at some point somebody was, you know, I guess implicated, incremented. They were implicated in the death of supposedly some thallium poisoning. And the thing is, it's very hard to get this shit. And it just so happened that he was recently came into possession of it and, you know, was putting it up for sale. So the cops were like, hey, can you help us out here? Like, do you have a list of people that have, you know, purchased any of this kind of stuff, or like where exactly they wanted to get some information about it, like where did this come from? And he had no problem. He's like, yeah, sure, you know, here's my fucking you know, my receipts, my logs, or whatever the fuck for this. And I guess that somehow turned it into a raid of the property, with the fucking FBI apparently piggybacking into going and like taking all of his computers, and he was cool with it, which is what I get confused. Like, well, why would you call it a raid if you're complying necessarily? Isn't that just, well,
if they show up unannounced, doesn't that, well, I mean, if he like let him in, right? He did let him
in. That's what I didn't understand about this article.
Well, maybe that just makes it more dramatic to say it's a raid.
And inaccurate. But well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. Like, you know, the feds and cops, they're going to be writing this shit down and you know, their documents or whatever. And specifically, I would say, like, oh, he complied and we raided him. What?
Well, you know, it's funny. In the article, it says conspiracy theorists and Lazar himself have suggested that Lazar stole a piece of element 115 from Area 51. But did he like suggest it, or he just kind of like implied that he had taken something? Because he didn't really say anything.
No, he never does. He I think his answer, he gave like a non-answer. He was saying like he was saying just like that I'm tired of having to defend myself for years. My life, my reputation, everything's been destroyed by the government, by everybody always crawling up my ass.
He seems to be doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he seems to be doing
exactly.
The guy with the badass house.
right. That house is pretty badass.
But like they mentioned in here, yeah, he does have a fucking nice place, dude. But like, apparently, maybe it could have been better. Maybe he could have had a bigger house. Fuck, I don't know. Like he could have had two houses, but.
That's the mentality of a pimp.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man.
And that's if we remember from the documentary, I mean, Lazar was a pimp at some point.
Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Uzis.
Right, yeah, into the field, in the fucking desert and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what? The hardcore nerd nobody fucks with. He's like, you sure you're not from Texas?
Well, he was putting rockets on his like bicycles and shit when he was a kid. And he's still trying to like, I guess, build rocket cars and everything.
Right. His neighbors were calling the cops on him and shit. A bunch of assholes.
So who was it that died from the? It was Janel Struzel. That was the person that was killed by the thallium toxicity.
I think so. Yeah, it was just somebody completely unrelated, or I don't think it actually talks about like how his possession of that element, not the 115, the thallium, was necessarily related. They're just saying like, oh, this shit's really rare, and we're just following in like people that have possession of it. So
yeah,
because he originally came to it from someone else that they had a brother that passed away, and they had an element collection that she wanted to get rid of. And so they were just like, "Hey, do you want it? Can you help us sell it?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll put it on my
document
website."
or in the articles that Lazar is not, according to the police report, Lazar is not specifically listed as a suspect in the murder in the police documents. Right. He just sold it to someone.
And they don't mention anything past that. Like, it's very vague. And his comments to that were that, like, okay, so when the feds showed up, like, all the cops, they were like, oh yeah, we're just gonna check out for that thallium shit or whatever. But he said he was approached by like two of them that specifically asked him about element 115, and no one else mentioned anything. No one else seemed to know anything. They were like, who the fuck is Bob Lazar? Never heard of this motherfucker. That's cool. But these two guys apparently went straight to him, and they were asking him questions about it. And that was how he sort of connected them to the feds and saying it was a cover. It was just like an excuse to break in and try to look for that alien element. And of course they didn't find shit. He never flat out, again, he never says or denies that he has this element. He does say, what does he say? If I had it, what was it? It's in here somewhere where he talks about it specifically. It was just a funny answer. It was another like non-answer, but he's like, just keep thinking about it, but fuck off, kind of thing.
I have it in his home, like, some fucking rare alien. It's like floating in midair, like he just has it in his closet and shit.
It's
like,
a paperweight, guys.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's on his fucking desk.
Fucking don't be stupid. You'll never find it. Here we go. If I had some, would I reveal it to confirm my accounts? Absolutely not. So there he is right there, just saying like, look, you guys can think whatever the fuck you want, just leave me alone. But I'm not going to say yay or nay and I think it's just going to get people crawling up his ass that much more.
Yeah,
specifically
but he kind of does it with like a wink, So
he just seems, I mean, I would probably want to fuck with people too.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like maybe it's a little bit.
Well, I guess since he's been fucked with his entire time.
So what pisses me off
about information
supposedly about the government like fucking him up, apparently the guy is successful on his own, but then he says that like his college degrees were erased. Like he went to, what was it, Caltech, and I forget where else.
Well, because they got rid of all those documents.
They fucking basically erased his Caltech and MIT. They erased his educational records, so he fucking never apparently went there. It's like, fuck you, man. Like, really, you work for that shit and paid money, and they go in there and just erase it, like delete. There goes fucking 10 years or whatever the hell, how long he was there. That's what pisses me off, because that's bullshit. But other than that, like, he didn't really seem to give a fuck about them farting around, other than to just like, he just seemed kind of resigned to it, like, the government's gonna be governmenting, fuckers.
Governmenting. It's a verb now.
Right. So, like, we left off. I was asking you what you mostly thought about all
Bryce.
this shit,
what did you
Bryce.
think about this article? Before, I'm sorry, Bryce. Before you go on, as I was going through the article again, it says on the United Nuclear Scientific's website, which is Bob Lazar's business, along with the 5-gallon buckets of aerogel.
Yeah.
Customers can buy prints of Lazar's sketch of flying saucers and custom Element 115 Lazarium coffee mugs. I'm going to get that.
Aerogel is...
You gotta support him, man.
You gotta support
Lazar,
Lazar,
what it
man.
used to be, right, man?
Aerogel is this cool stuff. It's been out for a while. But here it is.
What is it exactly?
It's just like a new material they're trying to use for all kinds of shit. It's really nothing special. It looks like foam. It's super light. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Bryce. So what were your thoughts on this article?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It seems like this guy Bob Lazar has been involved in a lot of illegal shit in his time, and I'm not just talking about the unsubstantiated, if you want to say, like the whole Element 115. So I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, but he apparently in part of the article he says that it was given to him by the brother or a sister or of a deceased
the thallium.
Yeah, a collector. The thallium was given to him. They don't normally carry it.
Right.
But it seems like he carries a lot of that kind of stuff. But I guess there's a lot of element collectors out there. So, I mean, I don't know, man. This guy, he's been in the trouble with the law a couple of times already. So it just, I feel like it's like nothing new for him. But, a little more serious this time. But again, he's not actually being implemented in the murder of the guy. It's just that they want to see if he sold it. But, I mean... It was an interesting article. I think I was the one who sent it to you, Ray, but...
yeah, you were, yeah.
So, I think the title is kind of misleading because I don't see how the thallium could be weirder than the goddamn alien fuel. Like,
yeah, actually, you know what? That's a good point, Roland. That was kind of like...
like, really? Clickbaity much? No. I mean... Yeah. What's weirder than aliens?
Yeah, well, it is Vice, so I don't know, man. They sensationalize things a little bit, I suppose, but
fucking Vice,
depending on the articles. But yeah, a lot of alien elements coming around nowadays. Because I don't know, I just sent you the other one too, article. I don't know if we included it on this.
Yeah, we're gonna include it. Yeah,
but okay, all right.
Yeah. Actually, I thought I opened it. Where? Shit. I was just looking at it earlier.
Well, let's go through our other articles as well that we have to talk about. Okay, so we have one from Popular Mechanics. Navy UFO sightings.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah, big surprise there. I mean, over the past couple of months, there's been a lot more soft disclosure going on.
Right.
And where the Navy or any kind of military department is like, they're slowly giving credit to like some of these videos or any kind of releases that come out. And this one here is, I don't
what do you
know
think,
what it's
Ray?
called.
Is it like, I mean, 'cause I feel like I'm sure the government would be trying to suppress people coming out talking about this stuff. You think that it's like either people are just getting braver about it, or it's like the government's just losing like?
I think it's a bit of all of the above.
I honestly don't think they care enough anymore. I mean,
you think that's what it is?
Like
because
UFOs, aliens, and the conspiracy theorists have been going on about this for years. And I mean, you have like people like Art Bell, Coast to Coast, George Norrie, all that kind of shit. Bill Cooper too. I have been talking about this for years, and now we have even more popular people going on about this, like Tom DeLonge from fucking Blink-182.
Well, yeah, he's.
I mean, he's been talking about this for years as well, but like not as much as he is now. Like where he's committed his entire career
Dan Aykroyd. Well, Dan Aykroyd's always been into it, but now he's
Dan Aykroyd too. Yeah,
he's more in the limelight.
He wants his vodka, bro.
Yeah,
he's all about the vodka.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
every time
Ghostbusters 3 too.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters
Bill Murray's gonna be in it now after all.
Yeah, apparently.
Probably for like fucking 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, it'd be cool if he shows up at the end and they just like kill him off. Sure.
They just cross the stream.
Hey guys,
on
remember
him
me?
and
It's
shit,
Venkman. Blah. Like, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Zap him.
In this particular article on Popular Mechanics, I guess the first part is called "The Witnesses," and it's 5 men. It's Gary Voorhees, Jason Turner,
Voorhees,
PJ Hughes, Ryan Willigat, and Kevin Day. Assembled together in a private group chat with Popular Mechanics.
So weird.
What's weird about it?
It's Popular Mechanics.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's exactly why this article seems a little more compelling, is because it's in a popular scientific magazine. You know,
Ray, Popular Mechanics has been doing they've been releasing a lot of fucking articles on this kind of stuff recently.
But I mean, it's just recent though. Like, it hasn't been like
but well, I would say like maybe I've probably been seeing some stuff by Popular Mechanics like for at least probably almost about a month and a half, a month now. It's, you know, anytime I'm like, you're on your phone looking at the news feeds and everything, like something will pop up, and it's kind of interesting that fucking Popular Mechanics has got all these like UFO articles, but yeah, they really seem to be pursuing it lately.
I'm surprised they're actually letting one of their journalists like print an article about this. I mean, this is like speculation, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is something that should be in like Atlantis Rising or Nexus magazine.
Nexus, fucking. What is the other one? There's Nexus. Oh my god, what's that other one? 40 in Times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Do you know that, Roland?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says these men also share a connection of being witnesses to one of the most compelling UFO cases in modern history.
How many of those magazines do you have subscriptions to?
I don't have subscriptions to them, but I do buy them on a regular basis.
We
so.
should.
Okay.
Right.
It said the case that they were a part of was the Nimitz UFO encounters, an event that the Navy recently confirmed indeed involved unidentified aerial phenomenon. Or is it UAP? Right? Is that what they're calling it now? What Hillary Clinton went on? Was it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, where she like corrected the terminology now, or what is it? The abbreviation? It's not called UFOs anymore. It's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Well, what do you think about that, Ray? Do you like that?
Do I like what the name?
Yeah,
I don't really care for the name. I like UFO, man.
Well,
it's classic.
Yeah, because don't you feel like it's too classy? Is that what you said?
No, I didn't say it's too classy. I'm just saying like it's.
To me,
I feel it's taken away from, because UFO already has like a stigma to it, you know. And then changing the name.
I can see that, but to me, it says when it says phenomenon, it's like, to me that's such a broad, statement. It's like, well, when you say UFO and unidentified flying object, it's kind of like,
it's too specific.
To me, it's like saying it's something based on not necessarily reality, but or something like an actual material, an object, as opposed to like a phenomenon. Well, phenomena could be like anything. It could be like
the swamp
like the
gas.
Lights. That's just lights and shit.
Venus.
To me, it seems like it's trying to make it more vague.
Right.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do. That makes it a softer release,
Yeah, but to me, that seems like it gives it less credence. It's like saying like, oh well, But I guess, I mean, I don't know. If we're trying to like say, are these things actually extraterrestrial craft? I mean, are we just saying that it's some kind of like, as the name applies, like some phenomena we don't know about? But I don't know. To me, it just seems a little more wishy-washy than UFO. And like you said, I guess UFO does a lot of stigma attached to it. So.
And Roland, do you want to give us a little bit more insight onto like What else happened in this article?
I read this or something about this a long time ago. I actually didn't get through all of this here. So as the
hold on, real quick, I must say that the article came out November 12th, 2019. So it's just this month that this article came out. Yeah,
but like hadn't these reports or whatever, the Nimitz, hasn't that been circulating for a while?
Well, yeah, this isn't anything new necessarily. It's just that there's a
just want to make sure
popular scientific magazine that's reporting on it.
Right.
And that's giving it a little bit more credit than it normally did in the past.
Yeah. No, I mean that's as much as I understand about it. That there were these guys here in the Navy that just saw some shit they couldn't explain, and you can find a lot of cool little YouTube clips of this. Old ass footage. When was this? When was this stuff taken? It was. I was just looking at it. Fuck. 19. Some shit on there.
2004. No.
Yeah.
Right there. It says on or around November 10, 2014, roughly 100 miles off the coast of San Diego.
Yeah.
They began noticing strange radar tracks near the area of San Clemente Island.
So it's like,
and he said the reason why I say they're weird because they were appearing in groups of 5 and 10 at a time, and they were pretty closely spaced together, and there were 28,000 feet going on. 28,000 feet going 100 knots tracking south.
Right.
You know, I the fact that I'm hearing myself like I'm talking.
Is that
weird?
Is that my voice? Is that my voice?
Yeah, no, it's not that it's my voice. It's that I'm hearing myself and I'm like hesitating on my speech. Anyways, whatever the fuck.
It's all right. There you go.
Fuck you, Roland.
There you go, Ray. You're back to being nonchalant. You fucking nihilist. Okay, so
I believe in nothing.
I think that
no, yeah. I mean, I don't know much past that.
Bringing it out, Roland, this article though is because you have the video, but I think what's saying here is that it's the first time that the 5 men have come out and actually spoken about it
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty nifty. Like, what is that shit? Let's see. So, for 13, I'm just reading the rest of the article here, and it just says that for 13 years, the story's gone largely unknown by the greater public. Let's see. And then here comes Tom DeLonge to save the day. In 2017,
never thought I'd die alone.
And all of a sudden, it's a controversy or whatever. Now he's getting all the government monies, all the cheddar, all the tea.
Like he should, man.
All the tea. All the
Ray, this is what you ought to be doing, man.
He wrote "What's My Age Again?" All right.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this came out in 2004 originally, so you were 13.
Yeah, at the height of Blink-182.
When they peaked.
I mean, the only way he's getting that kind of money is because the album "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket" were like huge, you know. And that alone solidified his reputation in the ufology community.
Yes.
Well, he did have a song called like "Aliens Are Real" or some shit like that.
Oh, wow, how brave!
Wow,
very brave of him. Yeah.
He's a trendsetter, trailblazer.
Can you imagine how that sounded? I don't remember that song.
I don't think I've ever heard that one, man. But
yeah, there's a song called like "Aliens Are Real."
Is that just like a William Shatner spoken word like song? Like he doesn't even fucking have like a band going. He's just saying like "Aliens are real."
Aliens are real. Aliens are real. There's various types of delivering that kind of information.
Aliens exist.
Oh, Roland found the song. See, I wasn't bullshitting.
The album is
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Of the State.
That was the song that solidified his reputation in the UFOlogy community. All right?
Well, Ray,
as a tin hat titan.
Ray, this is the kind of shit you need to be doing, man. Apparently, the government has this money to fucking throw out to anybody. Like, just tell them you're going to investigate, UAPs and shit, man.
Well, Roland, I mean, I'm sorry, Bryce. Did I make an album called "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket"? I didn't.
Right. He doesn't have that level of credibility that Tom DeLonge does.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know what's funny is that if you go to the person who's giving Tom DeLonge this money, or these like these
shit. Do you think that it's because like now the people in these positions of power were like listening to fucking Blink-182?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
they were fans. They were fucking fans.
I love that fucking band. Dude, you want to study UFOs?
Sign my tits.
The person who said "sign my tits," is the person that gave credit to Tom DeLonge.
Yay! Give him all the money. Yes.
Okay, was there anything else about this article that was like brand new? It basically just goes a little bit deeper into who the persons were regarding that video that was released not too long ago. Actually, there is a documentary called The Nimitz Encounters. Has anyone seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I'll find it.
Bryce, have you seen that?
No, sir, I have not seen that one. The Nimitz Encounter at the documentary?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
We're going to find that on Prime? No, I haven't seen it. Although Roland's looking on YouTube to see if it actually exists.
What was the one we just watched? That's the one we just
I spelled encounter
wrong. A man
wrong.
from the... Witness from the other world or something?
World, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
Then
he saw something that scared him. A fucking guy.
Many years ago, there was a man who encountered something.
Yeah, he should have just done the subtitles, dude. I don't know why he
really should have done that.
Did you show that one to Roland?
No, I didn't. I should have.
He would have loved that. That was fun.
Roland, there was a documentary that I rented on Prime just a few days ago. It's called Witness to the Other World or Another World or something. And it's about this Mexican... it was a kid who had an encounter with like a UFO or some kind of like...
He's Argentinian.
Some kind of abduction. And he... for years, he's been like still struggling with this whole abduction that he had.
Yeah, it starts off with them asking. It starts off with them asking him like he's like in front of a conference. Mm-hmm. He's like talking to him, and then they're like, "What did you see?" Like but in Spanish, and then like something's like, "What did you see?" And like I saw, and he puts his hands in he puts his face in his fucking hands, and like that's it. He's a very sensitive.
He can't tell us. He can't tell us.
He's like super sensitive, dude. Like every time he talks about it,
extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
But he still got up in front of a crowd, and they asked
he didn't say shit. All he did was get up. They made him sit. They made him sit in front of a crowd, like at a conference.
Yeah.
And they said, like, tell us what you saw, and he's like, I saw. Started fucking crying, man. Yeah, it was really weird. It was one of the weirder documentaries I've had. The Bob Lazar documentary is pretty straight-laced compared to this one. Like, this one tries to go to, like, otherworldly events that have happened. I was telling Bryce, it almost seems like the movie Contact with Jodie Foster and the book that's based on by Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Where she travels and she sees... like an entity, but it resembles her dad.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they can kind of approach her.
You know what? I didn't even think about that shit because he sees his grandfather.
Yeah, he sees his grandfather in this other world.
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
and that seems to be the only way that they can, I guess, ease him into this whole otherworldly experience that he's having.
Right,
being abducted and stuff.
I should have bought it, dude, so you could just.
I should have bought it. I was actually just thinking about buying it, but I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch it first, because I'm pretty quick to purchase any documentary if it's not free on streaming services. Like,
I wanted to see what I would like to see what Roland has to say about being that he has a master's in anthropology. Like, I'd like to see what he has to say about the fucking documentary. The guy who makes the documentary, he's like trying to. So I don't know. He keeps talking about this like indigenous tribe in Argentina, and that he. But he keeps like telling the guy Juan, the guy who had the experience, keeps telling him that they're like his ancestral people and that he needs to go to them. And I was like, dude, like maybe he doesn't fucking feel like that. Like, it's just weird. Like, he just takes them over to these people, and he just seems really uncomfortable. Like, they're trying to, I guess, give
really
him like
awkward.
some kind of like vision quest thing type deal. And it's just like fucking weird, man.
He's
like standing in this pool, like he's like standing in this pond, like there's all these kids around him, and he's just kind of
he just like he has his like face on him. He's just looking at everything like all weird.
What the hell am I doing?
That sounds pretty damn interesting. How do I teach you skis? Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying not to think about, like the whole bit. I no.
But he's like super sensitive. He like seems like he's about to cry like every minute.
Well, every time I talk to him, there's a tear rolling down his face.
Yeah.
And then the scene where he's doing like the hypnosis, and it's like the guy's like, "What did you see? Tell me." He's like trying to push him and shit.
Tell me.
And he's like lying on the chair, and you just see the tear roll down his face. He's like,
"Oh my god,
I'm about to see." And then they like cut away until there's some kind of like a
bunch of
reenactment, you know?
Yeah. Oh god, that's interesting.
Did they ever show the aliens, right? Or did he ever draw? I didn't get to finish it. Did they ever show like a depiction of what he saw exactly?
Yeah. They went into like I basically, again, I don't know if you saw this, Bryce, like where they took him into this other dimension, sort of, and he was there with his grandfather.
Well, I saw where he talked to his grandfather. Yeah,
but they did this whole reenactment thing and stuff like that.
Because I never actually saw the aliens, but I think didn't he have like some drawings of them that like they had this weird like tube thing.
Well,
did
you see this part where the alien lands in front of him? Or I'm sorry, the alien with the UFO.
Yeah, and he goes in there, and that's when he's talking about. And then he was cutting some meat, and I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was really weird.
That's pretty much what happened. Like, there's not much after that. They just go over that. They just go over that multiple times.
He kept mentioning that guy, that one of the aliens was like chopping up some meat or cutting some meat, but it like had no blood, and it was like. And I don't know if it
was the Beyond Burger,
some kind of fucking benevolent beings, and it's like chopping up this fucking meat. It was just weird. I don't know. I was like, okay, man, I guess.
He's like, you cook outside, we cook outside.
It smells like fajitas,
right? Yeah. You barbecue, we barbecue, eh?
Yeah, fucking assholes.
We're Mexican, so it's okay. Well, at least two of us are.
Yeah.
Well, you notice I didn't
either way, but sure.
Moving on, Roland, you sent me this link to this YouTube video.
Yeah,
called "Life on Mars" in 1984. Well, actually, it's called "The CIA Document Shows Life on Mars Observed in 1984."
So this was a YouTube channel that just got started like a week ago or so. It's called "It's Redacted."
This video on YouTube came out November 6, 2019. And I mean, I think they do a lot of like short videos regarding like CIA documents that have been redacted.
Right. They've got a related channel that's just like about like generalized science stuff that most people might not know about. Just dumb shit like, oh cool, AI, or oh, more green technology. Like, yep, okay, moving on. So then they have this, I guess, sister channel called It's Redacted, and as of us recording right now, they had just put out another video yesterday, but the one I sent was it reads, I don't know if this is what it was, But it just really reminds me of the MK Ultra stuff that the government had going on in when the hell was it, dude? Fuck, I don't know.
In the 40s and 30s,
was it something like that? Where, you know, they would like drug people up and just like, okay, we're going to see what happens. And then, we're going to try to do some like remote sensing, remote viewing tests and try to make like a psychic force or whatever the hell for them. You know, it's ridiculous. But so this one was called right here. It's called from the Stargate collection.
It's hilarious that it's called Stargate.
Yeah,
and then we have a movie called Stargate. Kurt Russell.
You know what's funny, Ray? Is I'm not on the same channel, but I looked at that Mars Exploration 1984 remote viewing and alien races, and there's a YouTube channel called The Undead Gaucho.
Ooh.
So that's funny because that's what that guy was in the documentary. So
yeah.
But so it's a remote viewing. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, so they apparently try to get these guys to project their consciousness, right? And they were able to send it to Mars.
1 billion years BC.
Right. So they were able to send them into the past. And they go there and they meet this like alien culture. I'm not sure how they were described, like just tall and
they were tall, like dark
thin
figures, but they were like on the verge of like extinction.
Right. And
is this sort of related to like the whole, you know, men that stare at goats type?
That's what I was telling Roland.
So this
is exactly what it seems like.
That's what we're joking about, the MK Ultra stuff.
Yeah, this is exactly what it seems like, that the government was just experimenting with remote viewing and trying to see like not just here on Earth, but like trying to project themselves into space and maybe to see if there was like extra intelligent life out there, you know.
Well, apparently in time too, because you said it was
right.
Yeah, exactly. Like 1 billion years in the past, 1 billion years BC specifically. But they mentioned that they went even further back because that's where they found the beings, and that they were on the verge of extinction and they were trying to survive.
Right. So these beings had like these sort of like pyramid-like structures scattered around the surface of Mars, and you could go into there, and they were using them as shelter. The aliens had
specifically to hibernate. Yeah, that's what it said.
They had sent the bulk of their civilization out into space to try to, you know, find. Basically, the planet was dying, so they were trying to get the fuck out of Dodge, kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's the shit we need to do.
Yeah, right. Get out of here, man. This planet is fucked.
Get out.
So there was something funny in here that I liked. Apparently, the person meeting with the alien, the alien thought they were hallucinating. Like they were like, what? They were the ones that were all cracked out, apparently, as opposed to
this is some good shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I thought was hilarious. As opposed to, you know, the Traveler, you know, being on some kind of mad meth trip or whatever the fuck.
God damn it, Joey, you sell me some bad trims again.
Asshole.
They didn't interact with this person, right? He just could see what was happening. From my understanding, like when he was remote viewing, there was no interaction between him and the beings that he was seeing. He was just kind of like he was like observing from like above, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, they were just talking. Well,
okay, so
at it.
But they could see him.
I don't know if they could see him. They didn't say that specifically.
One of them said again, it perceived the alien perceived the human as
a hallucination. I don't remember hearing that part.
As a hallucination. That's why.
Oh, okay. I
don't know if they were interacting. I think the alien was just like talking, you know, like, oh, okay, I see some weird shit. Well, I'm just gonna just gonna talk to it or whatever, and maybe.
And he kept on describing like the only like a reference point that he had to like was it the obelisk? Is that what they call it? Like it was like a Washington Monument type of thing.
Yeah, it's an obelisk.
Yeah, obelisk, yeah.
Pretty much.
And they reiterate in the little video here that this is an official CIA document.
Right.
And that this is exactly what your government has been doing.
They put up clips from the transcripts.
And they put up transcripts from the document.
Recordings.
And was this like at the height of like the Star Wars thing that Reagan was doing? Could this be like a part of that? Like, was he like instigating this, or like was he encouraging this kind of exploration or experiments?
I'm not sure.
1984.
I'm not.
Well, Reagan had that whole speech, right? That he was like, I often think about if we found some kind of like, what is he said something about a threat from another world, how we would all come together and.
Right.
Do you think Bill Pullman in Independence Day was based on what Reagan would have said?
We're gonna survive.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes.
Be at peace between us.
Ancient alien theorists say yes. Direct quote from the show. Okay, so in that little video, you can actually they have a link to the redacted document.
Yeah,
it says it was approved for release in the year 2000, and available to read in person, but was added to the CIA's online CREST database in 2017, and the full PDF is in the video. I will include the link to the video in the episode description if anyone wants to check that out. You see, anyone who's listening, this isn't something we're just making up, right?
Oh no,
these are actual
look them up
articles that are published and things that are published by
these guys some more subscriptions.
Either your government or by accredited journalists.
Our government. For anybody listening to this internationally, our government sucks.
Like I said, your government.
And this is why.
It's not my government. I'm just kidding.
Ray,
I'm just kidding.
you're a sovereign citizen, man.
Don't deport me.
You're cooping it up, man.
I will not pay the IRS. I will not pay the IRS.
2019, the couponing.
Or the sniping too, unless they come get me and I just give in and pay these taxes.
And they shot. Hey, and you got 2 dogs, man. They shot his dog. I don't think they won't do it to your dog, man.
Yeah. Oh, they'll definitely shoot my dogs.
They could take Dagon. Just don't hurt Chrissy. Dagon can fuck right off. Yeah.
Okay. So, was there anything else to add about this? Bryce, were you able to see the video?
No, I didn't.
It's a cool video. It's super brief.
I'm definitely going to have to watch it, though.
Yeah, you should just subscribe to this channel here. Seems like it's be pretty interesting.
They have another video, though. Yeah, it's redacted.
It's redacted. That's what it's called.
Okay. Yeah, they have another video that I was just going to zip through really quick on... here we go. On the CIA looking for Noah's Ark.
The CIA is crazy, man.
All this makes me think of was that some motherfucker.
It's all those Protestants up in the fucking White House.
Somebody got paid to do this, man. Like, really, you're a government worker and you're farting around with this.
Man, they've created shows on TLC based on this whole shit here.
Fuck those lucky bastards. My tax dollars are being pissed out for this.
But it's fun. We get YouTube videos about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So...
Okay, so that was basically an overview of that video. If you want to check it out, it's like 9 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
So the last article we're going to go through is called... hold on, give me a second here. It was released by Vice, and it's called "The Largest Single Collection of UFO Material is Being Cataloged I'm sorry, this is the second to last article we're going to talk about. And it says, that's good news. The bad news is that the files being cataloged are the ones scattered in the photo you see here. And it shows a video, a photo of Stan Friedman amidst of
his filing
array of
system
papers
is
just every fucking place.
His filing system is the hoarder's wet dream. Looking at this thing, there's just shit everywhere. And
for those of you who don't know who Stan Friedman is, he's a Canadian scholar and nuclear physicist who spent 60 years studying the UFO phenomenon and who suddenly died earlier this year. R.I.P. Yep. As you can tell in the photo above, this is no small task. Archivists caution that it could take up to 10 years to comb through and catalog everything.
I mean, the guy basically had
he was a professor, right, or no?
I don't know if he was a professor, but
well, he's a Canadian scholar.
That looks like some professors' offices I've seen.
Yeah, that's why it does look very familiar.
Yeah, for sure. And Stan Friedman has been doing this for how long? Like you said, 60 years, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 60 years of study. The UFO phenomena.
And I think
Ray,
just before he died...
Cracking,
I'm sorry, what was that, Bryce?
But Ray, you better get to cracking, man. You got a lot of ground to cover. You got some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I know, man.
10 years, bitch.
I'm not a nuclear physicist, so I wouldn't have...
You don't need to be. You can
anywhere
read.
Near the cred.
You can read.
Get a fucking telescope. Look in the sky, motherfucker.
Connect the dots, Ray. You get an app for that shit.
Go outside and stare at this.
I see the stars?
Yeah.
You dopey bastard.
So he did one of the most famous books, I guess, in ufology is UFOs. Is it Aliens, UFOs, and Fact or Fiction or some shit like that? I don't remember the name of the title of the fucking book.
Lectures on Flying Saucers.
Give me a second here, and I'll get you the title. It's Fact, Fiction, and Flying Saucers by Stan Friedman.
Holy shit. It says to move all of his records, it took 5 cargo vans. That
guy was dedicated.
Is a lot of paper.
More dedicated than any of the fucking guys on Ancient Aliens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
And dare I say, more committed than Eric Von Däniken?
I mean,
I don't know. That might be controversial.
Damn. 3 to 4 years to finish organizing these files, man.
You want me to do it, Bryce? You want me to organize all this shit?
Even with 2 full-time employees working on them. Hey, Ray, well, there you go. There's some employment opportunity, man.
Yeah, man.
You got job security for 3 to 4 years?
Shit, 3 to 4 years, shit, man.
Roll and apply, bro.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Do I have to move to Canada? Because I've been there before. It's pretty nice.
Well, go.
It's a friendly place. They're
organize
cool
this shit.
Fuck.
Help the podcast and shit.
I'll get back to you in 10 years.
First-hand account. You could, every time you find something new, we do
still remote in. You can still remote in while you're going through those files.
Yeah, man, you can remote in. Come on, now.
Like fucking papers rustling in the background.
You go, hold on, guys. I found this the other day.
Yeah, you're like, God damn it, Friedman! I can't find anything in this fucking place.
You bastard! Where are your notes?
You're gonna have to take a whole
look at this
college course on how to decipher his cataloging method.
Shit, that would be fucking awesome. They're joking here. It says somebody maybe they should start a GoFundMe to raise money so they can hire a couple extra archivists. So go fund that shit and give me that job.
Well, actually, it's funny. At the end of the article, Ray, there's another article for Tom DeLong. He his research company paid $35,000 for that exotic metals that might actually just be slag.
Right, yeah, slag, which is it's like the waste product
look at the bottom of the article, Ray. Like, look at the fucking picture they have of him too. It's like,
yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Slag, it's just like colorful shit.
Are you talking about the Gizmodo article?
It's the motherboard,
or is it the Vice one?
Yeah, it's Vice. Well, it's Motherboard. It's just like their tech.
That was the one that. Oh no, that wasn't the one you just sent.
Oh,
was it? Wait, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you
that was the one.
Idiot. I read that before you came over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking face in that his face in that picture though, man.
Yeah, it's priceless. But that goes along with that article that you just sent us, Bryce, which was here's how Tom DeLonge's UFO research group got those alien alloys.
Yeah,
and that's where it says like he paid $35,000. Hold on, let me read some of this here. It says, to the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. That's funny. The UFO research organization, founded by former Blink-182 star Tom DeLonge, entered into a contract with the U.S. Army earlier this year to have the military vet exotic technologies supposedly in its possession, including samples of a mechanical and EM-sensitive metamaterial. Those are the much ballyhooed alien alloys that kept getting brought up in the connection with the To the Stars Academy. Though officials connected with the institution have insisted that the word alloy is inaccurate and their alleged special properties have never been confirmed. And it says, rather than finding them in shattered remains of an extraterrestrial spacecraft, the To the Stars Academy reportedly acquired the metamaterials from UFO researcher Linda Moulton Ho for $35,000 for purposes of further study. And she acquired them from the late conspiracy theorist, that is a terrible way to describe him, Coast to Coast AM host Art Bell, along with documents purportedly written by a U.S. Army sergeant stating that they were found by the sergeant's grandfather.
Yeah, so they're trying to get the Army in on apparently analyzing, or rather testing the properties of these not alloys.
And it says here that Motherboard obtained a copy of a 2012 letter from Puthoff to Moulton Ho, in which he stated he shared her disappointment. His test did not yield an interesting, anomalous outcome in the test involving the application of various fields. So, is this a companion article to what you just said right now, Bryce? That Vice article that you sent with his picture in the front?
I don't know if it is or not. I just saw it. It was on the end of the Stanton Friedman one. I happened to see it there. I don't know if it's a companion piece to it, but I just thought it was funny the way his face looked on there. And I just read that it may be slag. So
yeah, that's pretty funny. Worthless.
Speaking of
but if it is, you figure that's something they would be able to like understand immediately.
Well, speaking of the quote-unquote alloys, Moulton Ho says, I don't want to stop the science, and I don't want to stop what may be the only way they're going to be able to test this. Because she also said she believed that the price was so low they couldn't believe it, and that she had sunk up to $2,000 a year simply trying to have it analyzed.
Right, because she's trying to just get rid of it already. Yeah. She's been wasting so much money on this. I think it seems it was like 1996 or something that she'd been trying to get it properly analyzed. And from what they described, I mean, if it was slag, they would just do like a chemical analysis and boom, like they should know what the fuck it is.
I'm kind of curious as to what kind of scientific methods they're doing over here at this
right
to the Stars Academy.
Yeah.
And is Tom DeLonge ahead of this scientific process?
I want to know what the fuck.
I don't think so, man. He's all the PR department. That's about it.
Yeah. He's the one who makes the jingle for the company.
All the alloys
should be real.
I mean, an X-ray machine from this thing would be able to tell them immediately, oh, it's slag. You know, so that's what I understand about how they're talking about that kind of thing, because most universities have access to that kind of shit. You know, you just take a little sample and boop boop, it'll tell you. Or ask a fucking geologist or chemist, and they will just take a look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's shit."
And the government is funding, or the army is funding him.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
now
they're giving him money to buy this kind of shit, and it's like
the only tests that I could see that they mentioned in there was how they were trying to get it to resonate with particular frequencies. So they're using some kind of just electromagnetic tests of some sort, and they mentioned that due to the limitations of the lab equipment that they have, like what they were able to use, you know, yielded no results. And so they're like, well, the army's got cool shit. Like, well, no fucking duh. And they're like, oh yeah, like you were testing megahertz and gigahertz. Oh, that's cute. We could do terahertz. Like, just give it to us and we'll do the, like, what? You'll do the work. Like, we're gonna fucking trust you, motherfuckers. All right, sure. And so it's just, to me, it's weird. Not because of like what they're studying, but like the process, like the whole situation, and to me is weird. Like this is an allegedly like a unknown material that this woman is trying to get studied for years, has been unsuccessful. It's like, well, where have you been going and who have you been talking to? And now that the army is involved, like, you guys are cool with that? Like, that, all of it is just, it's bizarre to me. I can't see it as like one big, you know, like, what the fuck is the word I'm trying to think of? It's like the military is just like trolling them or some shit. They've got nothing better to do with their time and equipment, so they're like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Like, we know you guys are morons, but like, this could be fun.
So you think they're humoring
right,
Tom DeLonge?
Yeah, exactly. Because
let's see how long he believes we actually think he can do something.
You know what, maybe all the people in the military are monster Blink-182 fans.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, we're going back to this full circle.
Yeah, all the people in the military right now that are helping Tom DeLonge were actually fans in high school. They were all 13 years old when Dude Ranch came out. It's Tom DeLonge! Yeah.
Hey, you know,
maybe.
Maybe he did sing them like Adam's song or something.
Right.
And they fucking were like, we'll give you all the money you want.
Yeah. Well, maybe, in 30 years, it's going to be like fucking Ed Sheeran or some shit doing this. I don't know. All the fucking girls from now, they'll be like, oh, let's give them all the money to study UFOs. But did they say where Art Bell? I'm sorry, you did say it was Art Bell that she got the piece from him? Yeah,
she got the piece from Art Bell, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did they say
who
where
got
he
it from? A sergeant's. Got it from a sergeant who got it from his grandfather. Okay. It's quite the chain of people to get things from, and it's Art Bell too. So I mean, I don't know what to think of that, but I mean,
well, you wouldn't think you would. I would think that Art Bell could have easily gotten that tested too. I mean, he's got connections.
Well, I don't think he had even much money to put towards that kind of stuff. I mean, it's almost of as if Bill Cooper would have done that himself. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
But so that's the end of that.
You think Art Bell was a broke ass motherfucker or what?
Well, I don't think he was like really rich or anything.
Well, how much does it cost?
I don't think. I think how much does it cost? You know,
Roland would probably know. How much does it cost to get this kind of testing done?
It depends on the kind of testing. That resonance testing, I'm not too sure about. Like, I have an idea of how it would go about, but I've never really had access to that equipment. But the X-ray stuff, to test like the chemical composition, you could just walk into a geology or physics department with an X-ray machine and like find a bored intern or a professor with nothing better to do, and they can fucking they can find out that afternoon kind of thing. Like, this is kind of weird, you know? I had a professor like that, and we would take in rock samples all the time, just be like, Doc, what the fuck is this? And he'd be like, well, let's find out, you know? We would just take a sample or whatever, and it's like, well, that's dolomite, or, oh, that's petrified bird shit. Like, why'd you bring that in here? You know, it's just, it's relatively simple for that. I'm not so sure about the resonance stuff that they're doing. I don't think it would be. I mean, it just boils down to access to the equipment. That's all it is. Like, to actually do things, I don't think it would really take much time. And
you would think the fact that Tom DeLonge has this money behind him, that he would have the equipment to just test this shit out,
even if
stop
you
fucking
don't,
around with it.
Even if you don't, like, the same process that I talked about with the X-rays, I would think would be the same. You find a university that has access to that equipment, you send them a sample, or you talk to people, and they'll do that shit for you. I mean, we used to do it all the time.
Well,
like,
do you think the fact that maybe they have propositioned some universities to do that, and they just refused? They're just like, we're not going to fuck around with that.
That's what I find. I find that unlikely only in the fact that, like, most universities, like, professors are nerds. You show them something funky, and they're not going to be like, oh, you're stupid. They're going to be like, oh, let me test this. Oh, it's just proven. Yeah, you are an idiot. You know, after the fact.
Maybe they can determine just by looking at it that it's not even worth their time, and they just don't give a shit. So Tom DeLonge and his little organization are going around trying to get, like, second, third, fourth, fifth opinions, you know.
I mean, I only think that's maybe, like, a few of them might call them crackpots or whatever necessarily, but 20 years of them trying to figure out what this is, I figure, like, it's a numbers game. You have to find, there's going to be somebody that's interested, and you don't even need to say. That's the other thing. Like, when you send out samples, you don't have to be like, oh, this is for aliens. No, you just say, like, look, this is an unknown material that we're interested in identifying. Can you assist us? Do you know anyone, you know, in that field?
Unless whenever they try and send out some samples, they
fucked it up.
They label the sample with this sample is coming from Tom DeLonge's singer and guitar player of Blink-182.
Then find that one
to the Stars Academy.
Find that one fucking Blink-182 PhD fan or whatever. I'm sure there's one out there. Yeah,
there's got to be at least one. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I like I said, it all seems very odd to me that this is something that they haven't been able to, I guess, even get more, I guess, negative or negative information about it, kind of thing.
Well, look, we'll see in the future how this plays out.
If the lead singer of fucking Good Charlotte comes out, the goddamn Liberty Spikes.
Oh shit!
This is the anthem. Throw your damn hands up.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's the last article where they're going to discuss tonight.
Is it?
Yeah, that's just the last one.
Oh.
There was one more, but we can probably save that for some other time. It seems a little too long right now, and we've gone over, like, more than we anticipated.
Oh shit! I told you. I said mini episode my ass.
It is mini. It's mini.
Yeah.
Mini strange.
Mini.
Anyways, I want to give a brief preview of what we're going to talk about in our big episode. If you listen to our last episode in which we did Michelle Remembers, part of our segment of Books of the Strange, we talked about briefly Satanic Panic and how that kind of sparked the paranoia in, like, the United States. In the United States. And we're going to be going a little deeper into, like, the kind of paranoia that it kind of caused. What people were thinking were inflicted with some kind of satanic powers.
Possessed.
Cartoons, toys, movies, music, all that kind of stuff. And it should be coming out later on this month. Bryce, do you have anything to add to that?
I'd like to see if we can possibly speak a little bit about how it might have affected our area.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if much of that reached down here. I mean, I think it kind of at one time was generally kind of widespread throughout the United States, but I wonder how much of it actually affected our little neck of the
I don't know
woods
if it
as far as
affected
Texas.
it in a very broad sense, but if you're gonna talk about like maybe like localized with like everyone's immediate family or something at the time, with all the paranoia that was going on, if you're watching Donahue,
was it again
or
the
Geraldo?
mid-70s?
No, it was 80s.
80s. Okay.
Like all those big name talk shows, if anyone's mother or grandmother were watching these kinds of things, they were probably affected by it in some way. If they saw their little grandchild playing with like a He-Man toy, I'm pretty sure they thought there was some kind of satanic voodoo all over that shit. Or the music that you were listening to, all that metal,
definitely.
Ozzy Osbourne, Metallica stuff,
Yeah,
that stuff was, then you were affected by it in some way.
Well, I mean, don't you remember the 80s?
I know I
Ray?
experienced some of that from my
Yeah, I was
grandmother. At one time, my father's mother, I should say my paternal grandmother, we had I think I had like an H.P. Lovecraft book, or it was something to that effect, and that she was like, she had a very stern talk with me, and it was just being like Bryce, you know that these things aren't real, right? Like, this isn't like a real religion or something. I was like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, these are works of fiction. Like, I don't know. It was just really strange. I don't know. And then of course, I played Dungeons and Dragons at a pretty young age. Even in elementary school, I would play Dungeons and Dragons, and they that too had a lot of stigma even at that point in the 90s.
Right, yeah. But yeah, so we'll go over the broad satanic panic paranoia in the United States, and then we'll localize it. There are a few instances where some kind of satanic fear affected someone here in Texas or near in the valley.
Yeah, I think I found a couple articles about
we did
related to Texas, but I feel like, don't you think, Ray, that there's like, well, I don't know about so much right now, but for like maybe a couple of years ago, there was like a sort of resurgence of that in the valley, like especially because I remember we had that there was a coworker of ours that said that apparently that there was like in Donna, there was like some kind of, they had like satanic rituals at the lake there. And Roland, I've also heard that there was supposedly is a place in Ed Couch where people would go and do like satanic rituals or some shit. I don't know where at exactly. But.
I do.
Okay. Save it. We'll talk about that.
We can do a remote recording.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I guess we'll bring this episode to a close. Man, I'm hearing myself is fucking with me speaking. We're gonna bring
that thing where you hear a short, you hear an echo. You know that phenomenon where you hear like or they've done it where you put like the headphones on and it's like a very short, like very quick echo, and it supposedly kind of fucks up your speech. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it's happening right now. I don't know. It's not happening for Roland though.
No, I just don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we're gonna bring this episode to a close. Follow us on all social medias and stuff like that. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Patreon, if you so wish to contribute to the cause. It does take time, gas money, and a lot of stuff to do this. But whether we get money or not, we're still doing it anyways. Yeah. But any little bit helps.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Maybe we can you can provide some kind of catering whenever we do these podcasts, because that's the end of it. We're either hungry or we need beer. So, I mean, help us out, whatever, if you want to. I don't care, whatever the fuck. So, we'll bring this episode to a close. My name is Ray.
It's Roland.
And remoting in.
Bryce.
Be easy.
All right, embrace the strange. See you next time, because I gotta pee.
Midgets come into my house. Hey, it's ridiculous. I had some kind of a rectal probe. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.